Good evening again, folks. It's the evening caramba, isn't it? It's just you try to enjoy yourself on a nice sunny day like that, don't you? Because it's the so there's a there's a mysterious phenomenon that happens, right? Where if we could go back in time and somehow video the 20 seconds before I pressed the red button, you would have caught me playing the most soulful, hackneyed attempt at something that might qualify as jazz. And of course, I rushed to harass the red button, in the hope that I could finally, once and for all, just grasp those credentials, But it's the same old thing every time, isn't it? Like, as soon as you get onto it, it's like, oh, I have to play all these old ones, and back to being Barney Castle again, and not even a good Barney Castle. You know what I mean? Just I don't know, like. Jazz chord. So what is that? Is that a major third right there? Yeah. Some modal nonsense. It's that scale. It's the one they use for writing all the movie soundtracks, isn't it? Man. It's quite embarrassing, I think it's a great thing whenever you're young and you're good at your instrument or whatever it is that you do, because you get extra credit, just for being young, you know what I mean? Because that's, again, another one of these mysterious phenomena, people just tune in a whole lot quicker. But like, nobody tells you that you're gonna grow up, you're gonna get like 30 or a little older, and that's all gonna fade. And then you have to sort of come to grips with your own deficiencies and all of this, and build a new identity out of that. You gotta come in like Charlie Parker, or a crumple suit and all of that there. You become an uncle and all of those ones, so what are you supposed to do? It would be pretty unreasonable for somebody to demand that they be forever portrayed as some hero, some romantic warrior, You must be humanized, you know what I mean? You must do something ridiculous. And it's like, all right, finally, this is relatable, okay? Yeah. And funny, guitar playing and musicianship is a funny old thing. It's a funny old thing, man. It really is. You have to wonder, how does a kid of 18, 19, 20 sometimes can play well beyond their years. And of course, this is a big part of the fascination. But where's that all coming from? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how did they figure all that out? I don't, he says he worked it all out for himself. I don't believe him. I don't believe that kid, So things like that. Um, but the fascination prevails. And if you go and you observe it, you analyze it, and you investigate it, um, you can kind of kill it, um, because you're trying to subdue the illusion. And if you might find yourself feeling very disenfranchised if that's what your mission is in life. Um, that's not me, by the way. It's somebody that I read about. But uh, yeah. So let's see, what can we do, like, in the world of guitar. Okay, I find there are certain times. We'll just play in the key of E, right? Minor pentatonic / blues scale / whatever else you can get away with. There will be times when your musicality's firing and your synapses or whatever are firing, and you can come up with new phrases, and all of the phrases that you have learned, even ones in the far distant past, you call upon all of a sudden at just the right moment. And it's brilliant, but you can't count on that to always be there. So you need a workmanlike performance that you can turn on if needs be, regardless of what you're doing, really, in music. So, if the solo takes flight and the band is really pushing and the energy's there and you're just sailing on top of it, all that old stuff, you know what I mean? And you're squeezing things, and when you're hitting and repeating licks that sound a bit like Jimmy Page, you're missing notes and ghosting notes and stuff like that. You couldn't do it if you tried, but in the middle of the solo, you managed to get away with it. You know what I mean? Just sometimes you're in that zone, isn't it? And again, it would be kind of greedy to expect to have access to that all the time. So what you kind of need then are a bunch of licks, standard licks that you can get away with. One for me has always been this, so I would go like this. Right, so that whole thing, 4th to 5th, I believe, and you've got that wee boy health there. Right. See that little Hendrix thing? That little move that he does. He bends up, comes down on that one. So just a variation of that I would depend on quite a bit. But I find through developing that and trying to, be original and stuff like that, even though it's quite obviously a steal of Hendrix, that I fell away from, especially using this 3-finger configuration in the manner that it was. You fall away from all those more standard, all of those little numbers. Picasso does that. And The Hunter. I think it's Albert King. Might have done that originally, The Hunter. So like there's within all that stuff, if you just go for it, it's not that hard to catch something. It's like getting the bite when you're fishing, all you have to do is catch that bite and then just sail it, or catching a wave or something like that, I suppose. Having never surfed in my life, but those are really handy to have, like, and especially you could be playing anything, blues, heavy rock, even with the right tone. If you're playing metal, you could probably do a bit of that. and that would pass. In fact, it might be quite interesting in that kind of setting because guys aren't used to hearing blues licks with a certain amount of authenticity behind them. Yeah, I think it's good to have all those ones, and then things like, I suppose it's what they call the cage system now. So, and this one, that one, all of those wee numbers. So if your picking seems to be working particularly well, and your your guitar isn't hanging around your knees, then you might be able to do some fast things there. And you can be fairly musical and interesting, I think, just going up and down them patterns, like especially with the articulation aspect, whether it's like slurs, arm-ons and pull-offs, or alternate picking, which I like to do a lot. And then aside from that, you've got the major things. So you take that minor pentatonic, just move it back 3 frets. Now there you are, Jimmy Page. Whatever it is that he does, but he uses that stuff all the time. You just learn a few basic shapes and then it's there, like, you know what I mean? It's another colored access, like, if you hold off it long enough, with loads of blues scale, loads of, minor pentatonic stuff, then whenever you finally seal into one of those at the start of the chord sequence, when you've had a little gap and you've had a breather, and you've already laid down your identity as some, minor only guy, suddenly just come sailing in with one of those, like a Rory Gallagher type band, which was it that he did. Something like that there. I think that's what it was in the Irish Chair, wasn't it? And he goes. Just those slow bands and getting into them and stuff, but all you have to do is pitch it right, hit something in the key, and then just kind of use your feeling and bend into the groove. And even if you do it half-assedly, it's probably still quite a good move to have. I like to play at the minute. I'm really dry. I'm on like about 3 reverb. It goes to 12. These ones go to 12. What am I playing here, by the way? Fender something 4. I forget what you call it, but it's a good valve amp. But yeah, a lot of people are fond of like really, really wet sounds. I don't mind that, like, especially if whoever's using it can really play like it. It's great. I like a dry sound. I think I'm like a glutton for punishment or something, So I might practice with those. And that isn't my wheelhouse. I went down the whole road of going like all that silly stuff. You know what I mean? So you kind of move around all those little triad shapes and hold your steely gaze so that people might be fooled into thinking that you actually know what you're doing, It's the same as anything. Every now and again it comes good and you get into your wee zen Buddhist zone and you can make all the stuff happen, and you look around at your life as you're nearing 40 and go, suppose I still get to play the odd half decent solo, it's not quite the old days, but yeah, there you go. It's a little guitar information for anybody that might be interested in it. There's a lot of better guitar players than me out there, but that's just kind of my 2 cents. If you like the blues stuff and all that nonsense. Anyway, be good and behave, and good night.